one fret down. Man, I'm really not doing the Dropkick Murphys any justice on that. And it's the worst time to be playing sloppy like that. Because it's frickin' St. Patty's Day, my guy. Actually, it's the weekend. Yeah, but the St. Patrick's Day parade wasn't in Boston until today. So yeah. In any case, talk about a return to form. Bruins fans, it is not to get out! Because that is a 7-0 victory over those gosh darn Buffalo Sabres. Welcome back to Into the Den, everybody. So we go into this game 2-2 on the road trip, with both of our losses coming from teams not currently. I think not in the playoffs structure right now. I know Chicago's like they're next to get dropped from the race. I don't know how they haven't yet been eliminated yet. If they haven't been, I forget. But Detroit, I don't think they're in it. I think they're just right on the border of it. But those were our two losses, and then our two wins came against teams that are hanging on to playoff spots. Buffalo's like 7 points down out of a playoff spot, so all signs showed point to us losing this game. Especially because now we're in the point where we're starting to do load management. Now is when we are starting to see the regular players get taken out for the so the bottom line guys can get more time. Case in point, today we saw the healthy scratching of both David Krejci and Dmitry Orlov. Krejci as the second line center would end up getting replaced by Pavel Zacha. Who is it? Frickin' Tyler Bertuzzi would go up to the second line and then AJ Greer would be on the third line. It would be the third line right wing to fill in for Bertuzzi. And on top of that, Dmitry Orlov goes out. So for the first time in I think 24 days, Jack said, Jacob Zaboral is in the Bruins lineup. This is how it looks. So you see Greer's on the third. They bring Lauko up to the fourth. They keep Lauko in the lineup, but he's still on the fourth line. Put Lauko on the third. Put Lauko on the third if you're gonna put Bertuzzi on the second, because Lauko definitely has more of the scoring touch than Greer. Greer is and at least has more of the energy that the third line has. The third line really seems to be our momentum line, a line where if things aren't really going so well, they'll go in and they will play their ass off and generate the momentum to get the Bruins to bring the Bruins up to speed. And AJ Greer, all the love to him. He's a grinder. That is not necessarily the type of energy that you need on a momentum line. That is a lot. That's a role more befitting for someone on a line with Hathaway. But anyway, we get the. But enough of my ramblings, and even though I do think that Cassidy needs to put Lauko on the third line more, but it is time. It is game time, and the top line gets the start for the first time in a while. I think I don't know. I've usually seen it be like either the third line or maybe in the fourth. I can't remember. The point is sometimes I don't pay attention to opening face-off, and so who's at center ice in the opening faceoff. So, well, I can't remember the last time Bergeron took opening faceoff. But he does. And 15 seconds in, the fastest goal that the Bruins have scored all season. The fastest goal. He ends up... Marchand, they basically rinse and repeat the fourth goal from the game yesterday, where Marchand goes behind the net and he pushes the puck out of a scrum to Bergeron. Bergeron's just swooping in on the low slot and blasts it on net. That's 1-0, 15 seconds in, and it would remain like this for the rest of the game. There were some points where Buffalo looked like they were more engaged than us, but hey, 7-0. I think the funniest thing is that there were 7 goals scored, and not one of them was and not one player on the Bruins scored 2 goals. Like, come on, look at this, freaking Bergeron, Hathaway, DeBrusk, Lindholm, Pastrnak, Coyle, McAvoy. That's 7 different goal scorers for 7 different goals. And honestly, I can't remember the last time the Bruins scored this many goals with all of them being this. I can't remember the last time the Bruins had this many different players score goals in a game. But anyway, let's talk about that second goal. The Bruins are kind of turtling in their own zone for a bit, but eventually Jacob Zboril forechecks it up to Garnet Hathaway, who's at like the top of the neutral zone. Zboril, by the way, had a great game. I think Zboril had a really good game. If he was looking for an opportunity to stay on this roster, he's definitely taking it right now, because this was a great game for Zboril. He checks it up to Hathaway. Hathaway pretty much snipes it from the circles. That's 2-0 Boston. Now, one thing that I will complain about in this game was the reffing. Go figure. The reffing sucked. But like, it's and I know. Why am I complaining about reffing in a game where the Bruins won? Because Bergeron didn't do anything. I don't care what anyone says. That was not a hold. So the Bruins go into the first intermission up 3-1, up 3-0. I forgot the third goal. The first line, a combination of the first and the third line, and Clifton is, and it's Clifton getting the puck from a scrum, passing it to the open space where Coyle is going to be. Coyle takes it. He goes right to goal, and he passes it to Jake DeBrusk, who has the wide open shot. This was a bad game for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Get ready. I'm going to be saying his name in full because it's just a fun name to say. Come on. Try and say it without a smile just creeping across your face. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. But no matter how funny his name is, this was not a good game for him. This was a objectively really, really bad game for him. And understandably, by the third period, whenever the puck was on his stick, when he was just keeping it for a line change or whatever, the entire crowd would boo. And yes, I know the Bruins fans infiltrated the barn pretty easily, but still. What's hilarious is that this game was almost 8-0, and it almost included Tyler Bertuzzi's first goal as a Bruin. In the second period, Zacha, the second line on a 3-on-2 breakaway, Zacha nails the post with a shot it becoming the king of almost once again. And as the rebound is coming to Bertuzzi, he sticks out his skate just enough to where it was called a distinct kicking motion. The thing is, you can see that distinct kicking motion on the first replay of it, and they take like 2 minutes to clarify. Yes, this is a distinct kicking motion. And yeah, I know Steve Dangle likes to complain about the freaking. He likes to complain about, oh my God, why is it taking so long to review a play? But is he wrong? Is he wrong? Is it like these reviews are completely I mean, I guess they're not worthless, but they do not need to be taking this long. Whatever. On the fourth goal, we have the top line out and the Lindholm-Carlo pair out. I like the Lindholm-Carlo pair. I think that it's honestly a really fantastic. I think that Lindholm's skill set complements Carlo's skill set. You have sort of like that dichotomy of the two-way defenseman and the big guy who's just all defense. But DeBrusk ends up cosplaying Marchand, and Lindholm ends up cosplaying Bergeron on this. DeBrusk going behind the net and feeding Lindholm, who's right up the gut who's just right up the gut on frickin' who is it on UPL, and just puts it right through. That's 4-0. 4-0 before we're even halfway through the game. Now Riley Stillman ends up going for interference, and so we get the 11th best power play against the second worst penalty kill unit in the entire league. Please, for the love of God, Bruins, score on this, and they don't. Look, I know we get a power play goal later in this game, but come on! A little bit later, we get a good one. This was, like, I know fighting majors are always fun because, you know, it's always fun to watch grown men on knife shoes beat the piss out of each other. But this was good. Dylan Cousins was messing up Trent Frederick, and then Frederick just finds the wherewithal to just he just starts going in. And the frustrating thing is that the refs get into the middle of it as Frederick is fighting his way back. Like, come on. Look, nothing will be as disappointing as watching the Binnington and Fleury tilt get snubbed by the refs. But this is definitely one of the most. But this is definitely kind of disappointing. And I know we're giving a lot of credit for to the skaters on the ice for this game, and they deserve it. The Bruins played fantastic this game. They beat an opponent that they should have beaten. But Jeremy Swayman, my guy, 2 consecutive shutouts, and he was a brick wall this game. This game was fantastic for him. I don't think that Swayman is taking over the role as number 1 in goalie this anytime soon. I think that in the event that he leaves this organization in free agency, because he's a free agent at the end of the season, he will whatever team he goes to, they could possibly give him a decent amount of money to be their number 1. Will he be as good there? I don't think so. I don't think it's not just because of the team in front of him. It's also because Swayman isn't that. Swayman, in all honesty, would not be fantastic as the number 1 in goalie. But oh my god, 2 consecutive. I think, if I'm not mistaken, his shutout streak is now at like 130 consecutive minutes, which is just insane if you think about it. And Swayman made a bunch of key saves in this game that helped the Bruins get to a 7-0 victory. Speaking of which, let's talk about the last 3 goals. First of all, Tage Thompson. I love this guy. I really like Tage Thompson. Don't punch people. You're not supposed to do that in the middle of play. Unless you plan on, like, legitimately starting a fighting major. Don't punch people. He punches Jacob Lauko, and understandably, he goes to the box for roughing. Because you're not supposed to do that. And finally, the Bruins actually score on the power play. Again, two games in a row where we actually score on the power play. And again, it's Pasternak tying his career high single season goal record of 48 goals on a feed from Bergeron. Marchand feeds it from behind the net because of course he does. That's what he does. Marchand is the king. Marchand right now is the king of Gretzky's office. He is the king of that trapezoid. I mean, you let him get behind the net. You let him get in that trapezoid, and you are screwed. You are screwed because he will always find a way to make a play from that trapezoid. Learn geometry. Anyway, the geometric Rat King passes it to Bergeron, who's wide open, but Bergeron doesn't really have the shot because his UPL is way overcommitting, which leaves Pasternak wide open on the wing. So Bergie slides it over to him, and there is no way that Luukkonen is getting back to save that. 5-0 Boston. And shortly thereafter, the Bruins make it 6-0 with Coyle. Oh, freaking McAvoy. This isn't like a Marchand. This isn't a Marchand and Bergie type goal. This is that would have been like one fluid motion. But no. Oh, McAvoy gets tripped up behind the net, but he recovers and he pushes it out to Coyle, who's at like the face-off circle, and he puts it through from there for their 6-0. Into the forward F-150 final 5, the Bruins are still commanding this game like hell, and Charlie McAvoy gets a feed from who is it? He gets the feed from Bertuzzi, and he just at the top, I like the top of the zone at like the blue line. He just swoops in completely uninterrupted. This man's just went for a joyride on the entire Buffalo Sabres roster, and he just snipes it top shelf on Luukkonen, and that is your 7-0 victory for the Bruins. Now, game notes. Seeing as this is the last extended road trip that the Bruins are taking this season, after this, like the most amount of games they have in a row that are on the road is 2. That being Saturday, April 1st against Pittsburgh, and Sunday, April 2nd against St. Louis. I think honestly this road trip was important for us. It was important for us to face some adversity from players from teams that didn't really have much to play for, other than potentially playing spoiler. I mean, we're up like 13 points in the standings. Like we've already clinched the playoff spot. There's no reason for us to. There's no way for these teams to actually play spoiler. But the Bruins have. But the Bruins they needed to get their ass kicked at some point. And honestly, it's good that we did that, and it's good that we battled back. It's good that it is fantastic that we have that over the past three that after getting our butts handed to us on the first 2 games this road trip, we have outscored our opposition we have outscored our opposition on the last 3 games this road trip. 15-2. 15-2. To give you an idea of how insane that is almost as much dominance as the Carolina Hurricanes put against us last season in the regular season, where we lost all 3 games and we were outscored 16-1. And for this game, the Bruins played exactly at the level that they needed to. Oh, they beat their. They needed a statement game to show. This isn't necessarily. Actually, no. This isn't necessarily a statement game. This is a game to make an example of someone. This is what happens to teams that underestimate the Boston Bruins. They get their teeth kicked in by one of the best. They get their teeth kicked in by the best team in the entire NHL. Do not cross us, because we will cross you 7 times as hard. Actually, wait, 7 times as hard implies that Buffalo scored a goal because you can't because 7 times 0 is 0. Frick! Can you tell I'm not taking any math classes this semester? In any case, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys on Tuesday against Ottawa. Take care.